Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome best-selling author Kelly Yang to our program today. Kelly's celebrating a brand-new book that I had a chance to read called Finally Seen. We're able to meet a special character named Lena who's going through a lot of different changes in her life and even trying to find her own identity in many ways. We're going to talk to Kelly not only about the writing of the book, but also what it's been like for her to see the way that people of all ages are already gravitating to it, and we'll let you know how to get your own copy of it as well. Kelly, thank you so much for the time today. Really do appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, look, you have been able to write some really incredible books that I think people of all ages can relate to. I want to talk about that experience for you because one of the things we see with Lena is trying to be able to find her place and be able to thrive in that. What has it been like for you as a storyteller, Kelly, to be able to find something that you love and to see yourself being seen for the talent that you have?
Yeah, that's a great question. I grew up not really seeing myself in books. My parents and I came to this country when I was 6 years old, and we lived in motels and we managed them, and this was not a narrative that I read about growing up. So I kept so much of my life a secret from everybody at school, and it became like kind of a lonely childhood. And then when I grew up, I really wanted to change that for the next generation. So I'm so glad that kids are able to see themselves in my stories. And, you know, we talk about issues, things like not always having enough money, not always having enough food, parents bouncing around from job to job. These were realities that I grew up with. And for Lena, you know, having to come to this country after being separated from her parents for 5 years and thinking that no one can possibly understand what she's going through until she picks up a book, and then having that book banned in her class. It's definitely something that I think a lot of people need to be aware of because it is going on in this country.
It is, and there's so many layers of this book, Kelly. I'm so glad I got a chance to read an advanced copy of it because I think that the thing is, when I was reading Finally Seen, I went into it with one thing in mind, but there's so many other lessons that you shared, and one of them I want to actually talk about, and it's actually given to Lena through the character Carla, and Lena is pretty hard on herself. So for our audience, we're going to let you guys know how to be able to get the book, but Lena's pretty hard on herself because she sees things about herself that people may bring up, like her speech, the way she talks, and one of the things that Carla gives to Lena is a great gift, and she uses plants to be able to help her to see that, and that is that, you know what, things take time. And I love the fact that one of the things that Carla says to Lena is, you've just been transplanted, you'll find your root system again. What was that like for you to share a lesson like that, Kelly, with Lena, but also to remind the reader as well, if you're going through a situation, maybe your life has changed, to be kind to yourself, to give yourself that time, be patient with yourself?
Absolutely. So that scene was inspired by my friends who have been farming a lot, and I would go to their house, and I would go to their little garden, and I would watch them, and they would teach me about farming and transplanting plants, and I just, for some reason, thought, oh, my gosh, I have been through that, even though I'm not, you know, a carrot or something, but I've been through that. I know what that's like. Having to find your roots again and having to, you know, be on new soil, what that feels like. And I thought, wow, what a great metaphor analogy for kids to understand exactly what you said. We need to be patient with ourselves. And, you know, we have to appreciate and see what's beautiful about our new surroundings and really find our groove.
Yeah. Another thing that really struck me, Kelly, in the book was, well, for one thing, I think everyone needs a Finn in their life, someone who is able to root for us, to be able to be there for us, to encourage us when we don't even see gifts ourselves. And Lena is a child that is gifted. And one of the things that we're able to see, Kelly, as you kind of share in the book, is that she has a gift when it comes to art, and that's why I was asking you the question in the beginning about being seen for your gift. Talk to us about the dynamic of Finn, especially in that scene with Mrs. Carter, where again people are recognizing a gift that Lena has that she doesn't always even recognize herself. What was that like for you to kind of show that connection with Finn, but also that recognition that Mrs. Carter gives her for that gift that she has?
Yeah, I remember, growing up, I wanted to write, and I love writing, but I was worried, deeply, deeply worried, whether I could do that in this country because my spelling was atrocious, because I had a million grammar mistakes. And I think when my third grade teacher finally said to me, hey, listen, we can fix all those mistakes, but what you have is emotion, and that's something that's so much harder to learn. And I just had this epiphany, which is going, wow, really? I have something that is hard to learn? And I think for Lena at the same time feeling so confused, so worried about leaving her grandmother, who she loves deeply, in China, having so much emotion that she's just bursting with emotion, and finally be able to put that onto a piece of paper and share it. And it's so hard for her to share a piece of her with the world. But through art, we can transcend all of these things. We can transcend languages and barriers, and we can see something really raw on the page that can deeply move and affect everyone else. I think that was a pretty magical moment for her.
Yeah, such a great point. Last thing I want to ask you about, Kelly, and then we're going to remind our audience that they can stay connected with you and get their copy of the book. And I've been focusing on the positive aspects. Unfortunately, Lena, like a lot of children today, and unfortunately us adults too, have our detractors. They have people who try to focus on the things, even when it comes to the art. One of the classmates saying, well, look, you can barely even see her. And so there's going to be people who create this noise. Talk to us about how you've been able to close out the noise, Kelly, because I think for anyone, even in your position as a New York Times bestselling author, there are going to be people who have their own thing to say. How have you been able to do that, and what was it like for you to kind of show through Lena how young people can do that too?
Yeah. It was heartbreaking when my first book, which is a book that is about my childhood, it's a beloved children's book, got banned, and I for a little while just closed up and thought, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why is reading about someone else's experience suddenly inappropriate? Why is reading about the immigrant experience not allowed in certain districts? And it made me want to be really, really quiet and really, really small because it was embarrassing. But what I realized is, the people who want to ban or silence everybody else, they're very loud. But in order for us to break through, we have to be even louder. We have to be even louder than the people who want to make us quiet. So I'm not afraid to talk about that anymore. I talk about book banning all the time because it is something that is affecting so many kids, so many districts, and it's affecting our kids' ability to thrive in the future. So I think that one of the things I want to empower kids to do is to speak out, to be brave, to use their voice, not be afraid to talk about things that are hard. Both in terms of what's going on in their lives, talk about it with their parents, but also the larger conversations that our nation is having.
Love that. Such a great point, Kelly, and such a great conversation. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk. Again, everyone, Kelly Yang has been our guest. Kelly is a New York Times bestselling author. Her newest book is called Finally Seen. It's available through our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite local bookstore. If they don't have it, I know they'd be more than happy to order it for you. And, Kelly, what about yourself? How can our audience stay connected with you?
I'm on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms at Kelly Yang HK.
All right.
And you can also
Kelly,
go to my website, kellyyang.com.
I'm sorry. And
thank
you
so
much again for the time. Really appreciate this. And looking forward to speaking with you again, Kelly.
Absolutely. Take care.
You as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.